Hello, we're back. We've watched week 2 of Australian Survivor season 12, and Katie's watched all 3 of them again today. So now it's a test for who were the 3 people that went out. Katie?
3 people left? I mean, I can see it in front of me.
Go on then.
But I forgot that someone went on Monday. Paula, Harry, and Johnson.
Yes, that's it.
The one I
Good
just
You know,
saw.
I was actually blanking there as well.
Yeah, I could not think of his name. And also because I didn't think that was the Weasel plan, so I was surprised when he got voted out. I was very confused about
Wait.
everything that
The
happened.
Weasel plan? What?
Yeah, weren't you paying
was it about a
attention?
Weasel plan?
Faith and Keely were talking about a weasel plan, which was Tez.
Oh.
But then they
Which
ended up switching to Caleb. But then they didn't
Are they
vote for
calling Tez a weasel?
Caleb. I think they are.
That is so rude.
Uwe asked if Tez was a Katui.
Was it what?
I'm not saying it again.
I didn't
Well, what
catch
you
it.
said didn't sound like English, so
It's Thai.
Oh, okay. Are we going to get
You can say
blacklisted
off
or something
camera.
by YouTube for that?
No, but it's not complimentary, I'll tell you that.
Okay. And it's
Okay.
not weasel.
No.
It better not be Beaver or Don will go after him.
Or corn chips.
Oh
Look at
my
us with
god,
the
you'd
names.
make a hat out of him.
And he'd tell everyone that he could make a better hat than everyone else.
Yeah.
If only you give me a chance to make a hat, I could have done it better.
Yes, Don was exceedingly annoying this week, even more than last week. I thought he'd figure out by the end of last week that, you know what, maybe I should tone it down because people
Just a
clearly
smidge.
are not liking it. But no,
Yeah, but he thinks everybody will respect him because his brother is the godfather of Survivor or whatever the hell he is.
oh yeah, that's right.
Which, I mean, he did all right. He didn't win or anything. Like he
I would have
did
thought
pretty
that
well in one season.
Dave, the host, was probably the best Australian Survivor
Yeah.
player since he's the host now. But, you know, whatever.
Yeah. And he won sort of an all-star season that they did in about season 5 or 6 or something. Yeah.
Also, just because your brother competed doesn't mean you're any good.
Well, apparently he's played for 30 years or whatever as well as a hooker in rugby.
Oh, he was a
league, I
hooker,
assume.
not a stripper. That's right. He
I
was a
did wonder when
hooker.
you said stripper.
I thought
No,
he said
hooker,
stripper,
which
but
I'm
it was
pretty
hooker.
sure is that league or union?
He's-
I don't know. I'm from the south.
Yes, it is.
No idea. It's
It
one
is.
of them. Also, he's a hooker, but he's still a corn chip.
Yeah, he's
Was
also a
the
corn chip.
weirdest statement I've heard in one sentence.
And were
Yeah.
they the ones that got the nachos?
Yes,
No.
they weren't
Did
they?
they? No. Bounty got them. Bounty wins all
Oh,
that
you're right.
stuff. They
Sorry,
only
yes.
ever win the immunity
yeah.
challenges, which obviously they didn't this time, but they normally do.
Well, they can't
Yeah.
call themselves the Corn Chip Alliance now, can they? If they're not going to win the nachos.
They didn't even know about the corn chips when they called themselves the Corn Chip Alliance.
Yeah, I just want to say
Mark-
that completely
Mark
did not
still
even
doesn't
occur
know
to me,
why.
Michael.
I think Mark still doesn't know why. I think the other two must have had a conversation about liking corn chips, and then they just came up with the name, and Mark's like, corn chips, yeah, whatever.
It's very strange. Very strange people on this show.
I don't think we said it last time, Katie, but there's sort of a history of people, once they give their alliance a name, they often feel like a little bit more attached to it. So people try and name their alliances, even though if everybody does it, it obviously makes no difference. But
Okay.
yeah.
Sure.
So-
I thought it was going to be the Weasel Alliance, not the Weasel Plan, but whatever.
I don't know that they were necessarily saying he looked like a weasel, more that he was playing like a weasel, I think is what they were getting at. But one of the interesting things about that last vote was they thought that he was kind of, well, I mean, Mark did talk about Tez running information to him, and he did a little bit, but they didn't end up voting together.
Mm.
I wonder whether Mark thought Tez was going to vote with him, because I knew the wiki wasn't going to be updated by the time we were doing our video, although maybe I should refresh it. I took a video of the votes again. At
It's
the
not refreshed.
end, yeah. But that was the main one that stood out.
So, but hasn't Tez been really keen on getting Don out from basically day one? He has, right?
Looking to see where he voted last time. He voted correct. Well, he voted with the majority for Cat last time. Oh, everybody voted Cat nearly. Yeah,
Cowards.
it was only Johnson and Sally. Oh, hang on, no, that's not right. Johnson voted for Don last time. Sally and Cat. Oh, okay. So Sally was on the outs last time. I was actually having a little bit of trouble with Sally because we haven't seen a lot of her. Was she the third person in with Faith and Keely? Was that
Yes.
Sally? Right, the one whose jacket you said you liked, and then I kept
Yes.
looking for her jacket. Was it like a pink jacket, or was it
Yes.
a different one? Ah, okay.
And it had like something sparkly, like sequins or something on it. You saw
I
that,
didn't
right?
even notice.
Oh, Katie, disappointing.
Was it today?
Yeah, it was
Today was not a good watch for me, so I
okay.
wouldn't.
What do you mean, was it
Had a hard
today? You
time
watched
focusing.
all of it today.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah,
She
sorry,
voted
I meant
for
was it tonight? Sorry. Yeah, obviously they were all today.
Okay,
for
yes,
me.
Sally voted for Johnson, so she wasn't on the outs again. Yeah, because if she was on the wrong side of the votes, 2 out of 2, that would not be a good sign for her. Yep.
So, can we talk about the
Yeah.
challenges this week?
Sure. I hope you wrote them down because I'm not going to remember them all.
No, I just remember specifically there was that tug of war one
Yes.
Mm.
that I thought was not very good.
Bit of an
And
anticlimax. We've had better.
And tonight's one where they're in the water and have to throw the ball at the opposing team, I also thought was not a very good challenge.
Okay. All right. I didn't mind that one.
They're just
Sometimes
so
they kick
one
balls
note.
at a goal. Sometimes they, yeah, it was a little bit. It's a bit of a mix. Sometimes they've had ones where it's just that wrestle in the water. Sometimes they've had, kicking a ball or throwing a ball, but they kind of combined a few here, I guess. And instead of having one goalie, they kind of had a few people on a pole, so at least not as many people were redundant. But yeah, I agree. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst either, I thought. The tug of war kind of fell pretty flat because it was just sort of first to 2 and none of
Pretty
them really went back
one-sided.
and forth at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another year they did it so that when you won, you essentially pulled the other team off a platform and they fell in the water. They at least had some comedic value when they fell in the water.
Nice.
Whereas this was,
It was just sad when whoever was it, Cameron, ran out of bags to
Yeah.
throw.
Yeah,
when
okay.
everyone's like, stop throwing the bags. You'll run out of bags. You'll run out of bags.
And someone mentioned about his eyesight, like should he be throwing? Isn't he short-sighted or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh well.
He just keeps piffing them over and over again, runs out, gets no cake.
And then
we should,
was it Tez who threw it on the other team and got it first go?
Yes.
First shot.
yeah,
Which was really impressive.
Hero
yeah,
moment,
and
Tez.
we should actually just address Michael's comment earlier about Don being able to do basically everything really perfectly. Just listen to him; he'll tell you. Nearly every challenge this week, he's been in Mark's ear. Oh, I should have been the one to do that. it
Throw
would
the
have been-
ball, undo the
Yeah, it's
carabiners.
just you name it. Oh yeah, because I've done this.
No, because
oh,
he was
I
a
did all that.
hooker. He was a hooker once. He was
It's
really
just
good
like,
at
oh my god, this guy.
standing on a corner. I don't know.
I love that they're including this in the edit because it's really making him annoying.
Yeah.
As much as it's funny, I do think he has a bit of a point. I feel like they should be sharing it around a bit. And Mark obviously rates himself on the challenges, and to be honest, has done very well. Like, what has he not done well? He did well again today as well. In fact, that one of the only ones he gave up on was when he let Ben swim out at that at the start of the final one.
The immunity
tonight.
challenge. Hmm.
Yeah, because I know I keep going on about it, but yeah, in his first season he was just phenomenal. He would just race out ahead of everybody else. But I mean, Ben seems to know what he's doing as well. I do kind of wish they would give the others a bit more of a go, but like particularly the women. like if it's not a strength challenge particularly, if it's something with multiple rounds, normally they'll say, all right, men first, women second, and then a mixed one, the third one, a little bit like they did tonight. But they've had a lot of these team challenges where it's sort of the team, and then it comes down to one or two people at the end, where mostly it's the same people getting up all the time, and it's getting a bit boring.
Yes, I agree. You're seeing the same people doing the challenges over and over again, and you know what? Now I hope one of them gets injured. I know that sounds really bad. Just so it'll be like, well, he can't do that anymore. It's just like, come on, back off, buddy.
I would like to know if Ben is opposed to wearing clothing during challenges.
I mean, it is my house. I can wear whatever I want, Katie.
You're just watching it in your Speedos.
Yeah. I'm just the Council of Ben's solidarity.
Simon's a bit the same. And in Simon's seasons, he's basically done the same thing.
There were just some of them where I'm like, you don't need to strip off completely.
There was one last night, I think it was, where there was like a super close-up of Ben in his Speedos as well. I was like, all right.
It was during the tug of war was one of it. There was a lot of close-ups of him in his Speedos. And I'm like, do you need to be almost naked for the tug of war? I feel like that's more dangerous than... That's a lot of places to get rope burn on.
There's a lot of people online who can't help themselves but imagine what JLP, the last host, would have said for some of these challenges, because he loved just doing double entendres wherever he could. So lots of challenges with balls and poles and things like that. Right. I think I've shared a couple of them in our chat that maybe you didn't understand what they were about, but they feel like David's been letting a few go. That some of the double entendres that really were just hanging out there that should have been taken.
Well, how about the old icing on the cake that they visited that well twice?
Yeah, they do it. They do it at the start. Yeah, JLP used to do it as sort of as his final thing as well. I might try and find a video, Katie, of my one of the worst ones worst and best ones I can remember of JLP doing double entendres. Yeah. What were the other challenges? That was mostly the challenges, wasn't it? There's still been a few good ones, though. Oh, that's right. They had the one where they were having to bounce the balls off a platform and knock. I thought that was interesting. And Harry was having a real trouble knocking the bottle. Like he kept hitting it, and it just wouldn't fall over.
And they had the one with where they had to pull low and push the thing with sandbags on it, and then put the puzzle together.
Oh yeah,
one of the teams had done it wrong because the E's.
Yeah.
And the picture behind, that was the CEO, Rich, wasn't it?
Yes.
I guess you're looking at the word and you're right up against it and you just need to step back and have a good look at it.
I like how they had a chance to fix it and they still stuffed it up.
Just
think about all the ways, I've seen, again, I've been reading online what people are saying, so it's not like it's my original thought, but just like all the ways that Harry could still be there. Like, he hasn't got anyone but himself to blame, but, in terms of who he made pals with and what choices he made with the risk and everything. But there are a lot of things that could have gone slightly different and he would still be there. Like one of them was them, they were leading that challenge and really should have won it, but for the puzzle. And then they, Lyndall with her idol and Aisha sending Loz off when they might have very well voted Loz off instead. Like there was 3 or 4 things that kind of led to him being on the bottom, but that's the way it goes. You got to be good, but you got to be lucky as well.
Yeah, actually,
that immunity idol challenge. I knew Lyndall had it win. As soon as I saw her stance. I was like, she's got this. There's no way she's not gonna.
There's some very athletic people,
and also her breathing and disassociating from life while that was happening.
And she spent a lot of time on heels, apparently. So
yeah, well. Standing on wooden blocks that are specifically on balls of your feet are very similar to heels, apparently.
I think Harry's done very well at a challenge like that in the past, actually, even though you wouldn't necessarily know it just to look at him. But
he did really well regardless. Like, to be one of the... I didn't think many of the guys would do well in that challenge just because it's balance. It's not what guys are necessarily good at, and not like it's just like going to a Pilates class. It's
yeah. As they get towards the end of the season, they especially on the American one, not as much on the Australian one, but they tend to stop favouring strength as much, and they become more about balance or control or.
I've seen clips of some of those things where they've got to like hold on to something when they're in the water or something, and if you fall off,
perseverance.
I've seen some clips of those.
And I mean, that was kind of that sort of challenge. It had gone from a team challenge to an individual one. So they changed it to something that kind of anyone could theoretically do well at.
Yeah, I was just mad Lyndall got it. Because I wanted her to be voted out while still having her hidden immunity out. Because she's a mean girl and I don't like her.
She is mean. Do we want to talk about how Lottie really bared her fangs this week?
Effort.
So in the first week, we definitely got a sense of she could be a challenger to Harry in that tribe because she's obviously got her eye on him. But this week she just was okay. Let's take out his main supporter. But then she wanted to keep him, but she obviously saw the way the wind was blowing and was like, "Oh well, it's too bad. I can't do that now."
Yeah. Because originally she wanted Harry outright, and then someone kind of said, well, we should keep him for a bit longer because he'll be good at challenges and stuff like that. And then we should do Jackson.
He kind of personally appealed to her a little bit and sort of put ideas in her head, and she was, oh, yeah, maybe I could use you.
Yeah.
But even the fact that she didn't... Even the fact that she, like tonight, said she would have preferred to keep him, like it's sort of the sign of a good player that she knew when not to fight that battle as well. Like you're not always going to get your way, but you've got to know when to push and know when to hold back.
We should probably make fire without a flint.
We should probably address that tribal council.
You mean it was the greatest thing ever that may have gotten Mum hooked on Survivor?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it was crazy, right?
I mean, she didn't watch tonight's, but yeah.
Yeah, it's good she didn't watch tonight's because it was nowhere near as dramatic as the previous night.
No, not at all.
But yeah, it all started. I'm trying to remember. So it was going to. Okay, so Aisha used her advantage to send Loz, was it, off to the other tribe and said that Caleb was going to come to their tribal council. So that's all fine. So Loz was going to be one of the two. The other one was going to be Lyndall. Then they had the second immunity challenge and Lyndall got immunity. And Harry's like, oh, well, crap. Oh, that's not good.
Until then, it sort of sounded like it might be Loz or Lyndall. Or at least that's the way it was being told to us. Yep.
Yeah, so they get back, and now it's Harry or Jackson. And Harry is like, well, it's not going to be me, and basically pitching to the whole tribe.
Jackson was still kind of stewing because Lottie had sort of put in had led him to the realization that Harry had voted with him rather than voted out his ally, but the realization that he did that just to curry favour. So he was already kind of a bit sus. Sorry, Katie.
I was just going to say, I mean, I didn't hate Harry in the episode because he really was trying to keep them both. Like, he really made an effort to keep Jackson as well. I thought he was going to be the one to throw him under the bus. But he gave Jackson the flint, which was obviously a bad move for him.
I wonder how they came to that decision. Or whether he thought that Jackson wouldn't go for it unless he gave the flint. But he also could have tried to do the flint roulette without Jackson. Like, if he wasn't worried about Jackson, he could have just kept it himself.
Yeah, he could have. He could have just made it about him and not included Jackson. So he really did want Jackson to stay with him, which I thought was nice. And then Jackson just...
Yeah, so going into
amazingly
the tribal council, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I was like pretty sure it was going to be Jackson. Then,
well, I thought they were going to switch to Rich. I thought it was going to be Jackson for the vote. Sorry, until they came up with the Flint plan.
To switch
and
it
then
to
I
Richard.
was like, oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I
Harry
thought
says
they would
Rich,
get
and Rich is like,
cash flow richer. Yeah.
he didn't really put up a defense, or not a defense we heard anyway. He was just like, what?
Oh, and what we
Yeah.
didn't mention is that when Caleb came and sat down, he gave this speech that says, we need to get rid of Harry. Just like, whoa.
Well, because that was what Loz had, because he'd also asked for Loz's opinion on who he should be trying to vote out and stuff, and she said Harry, so that's what he went in with.
But not just Harry, he wants to get rid of all returning players.
Yeah, which may be his downfall now.
Now that everyone
Especially
knows.
when he went back and told his tribe today that's what he said.
Yeah.
Like in front of two returning players and whoever they're allied with.
Yeah. And then tried to backtrack it.
So
and he wasn't in the majority vote tonight. No,
he was not. So
which I was surprised by, but we'll come back to that. Sorry, carry on about the
after the whole Flint debacle is revealed that so Harry and Johnson are saying one of us has the Flint, you don't know which one, so roll the dice and see what you get. Then Johnson? It is Jackson basically says, no, I'm not doing what you're doing. You vote for me if you want, but I'm not going to deprive you guys of hot food, so here you go, here's your Flint.
He made a really valid point, though, for himself. He said that Harry keeps saying he's all about teamwork, but he's the one who came up with this idea, and he's happy for you to go without fire if you vote the wrong person out. I'm telling you that I have it, so you should keep me in. And I was like...
He spoke very well.
He did.
Yeah, he really did. And he definitely had planned that.
Harry knew at that stage, oh no, it's going to be me.
He's like,
yeah.
I don't want to fight. Like, well played.
He shook his hand. He knew. He was like, yep, okay.
It was just one of those things where it's like, it was, this is what I like about Survivor, where things like this can happen that are just completely unexpected.
This is what I've been waiting for.
I was messaging Michael saying, is this why Americans like Americans like Australian Survivor?
I mean, stuff like
Americans
this.
Will do this? They're too kind.
No, it does. I guess the last few seasons has been not as much of it. Like it's been a bit more predictable and people not doing. But I mean, there definitely has been this stuff in the past, and I think in season 50 there probably will be because they're returning players as well. But yeah, like all through last season, Ben, when stuff was happening, but it wasn't really big stuff. And I kept saying, oh, there's been some pretty amazing things that have happened in the past. I can't wait for you to sort of see some of them. I mean, just the plan itself was pretty good. But
I was excited for the Flint plan in general.
Yeah. And look, Jackson was already on the bottom. It may not take him, all that much further, but like good on him. He sort of got his moment in the sun, and now it looks like we're having a tribe swap, and he can take his rainbow knit to the other crew or whoever they end up with, and he might get a whole new lease on life.
Why is he one of the ones they want to get out?
He just doesn't have good connections in the tribe.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't seem to dislike him or think he's dangerous or anything like that. He just doesn't seem to have buds.
Yeah, okay.
I was actually just thinking...
That's the side I don't like.
That move that he made against Harry, that could be a real talking point if he made it to Final 3. Because that was a brilliant move.
If you can come from the bottom, especially early on, and then fight your way back, that's a good story.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was on the bottom was really not through a whole lot of fault of his own. Like he made a, number one with someone and she got voted out nearly straight away.
Yeah, and when they're voting people out because, they were not really friends with them, that just makes me sad.
Yeah.
It's not about friends. Only one person's going to win.
Katie, did you want to talk about how Lyndall's a mean girl and how, basically don't try to give her a heads up because she'll come after you?
I know. She's a freaking idiot. And then to see it saying that she had woke up because of the rain and then Eliza had called out to her and got her to talk and told her this so they could maybe strategize. I mean, she didn't... Look, Eliza did not have to tell her in the middle of the night. at all. That was a stupid, stupid plan. They could have found some alone time during the day. Agree with that. But I don't think it's a reason to vote someone out for saying, hey, we're both on the bottom. Maybe we should figure something out. And then be like, well, you're also on the bottom, so I'm just going to get rid of you.
How did you like at the start of this episode how someone asked Lyndall how she slept? That was like the first line of,
I must have missed that.
Yeah, the editors are playing with it.
But who was the other person this week who gave Lyndall a heads up? Who was it? I can't remember.
Wasn't it Lottie?
Yeah.
But then she was like, I want Lottie gone.
Plan.
Yeah, Lottie was saying, there's some people who are going for you, and Lyndall kind of said, I don't want to be the split vote. You know, whenever they say split vote, you probably picked it up from context, Katie, but it's like, who is the person that we're actually voting for? Who is the person that we're going to tell them that we're voting for?
Yeah.
Kind of. But that's not actually what was happening. Lyndall wasn't the split vote. Lyndall was the actual target of the other people. it wasn't just that they were floating her name.
That was for the Paula one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's another case
as soon
of...
as they told Lottie, I was like, why? Like, Lottie is the one who got Paula to pass it around to tell everybody to vote for Eliza. Like...
Yes.
Lyndall and Lottie came up with that plan and then put it on Paula. I was like, why are you telling Lottie? She's BFF. They can be mean girls together.
I forgot what I was going to say now. Sorry.
And Lottie also seemed to be pretty tight with Aisha, but when Aisha got her clue in the cake, that was one of the
Cameron, right?
Yeah, she did.
I actually thought she was trying to sneak him some cake.
Apparently,
I have read afterwards that someone did give you some cake.
Yeah. Were they told they couldn't?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's the idea. Yeah. So he didn't go, and he was a pretty good sport about it too. Like he didn't whinge about it or whatever. He knew he'd.
No, he was a great sport about it. And I did like, was it Rich who was giving out the cake?
Yes.
Yes.
I did like that he gave himself the smallest face. When he said, I want the biggest face. Didn't he have the smallest? Oh, no, Lyndall had the smallest. Well, Lyndall's a model. She probably doesn't eat.
I think it was right down towards the bottom, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like the second or third bottom. Cam he hasn't had a lot of time on camera all the time, but during that Harry vote, he had a couple of sort of quips on the side. Like one of them was during that Harry thing was like, "Oh, that was like the coldest thing ever," or something like that.
Yeah.
All lines in.
Yeah.
I really like his personality. But what about Aisha? She's even showing that she's a contender.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
So she was the one that started the thing about Paula on Tuesday's episode. It was completely out of the blue. She basically said something that wasn't
that's
true.
Right. She almost lied about it, right?
Yeah, she did lie.
It seemed like she made it up.
What did
unless it's something that wasn't part of the edit. But based upon what we saw, it looked like a lie.
What did she say?
She said she basically pinned something on Paula for saying somebody else's name. But
that someone had said,
but we hadn't seen anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what it was precisely.
And then Lottie took that and just spread it around, and that got the vote onto Paula.
Yeah. There's an interesting tension tonight with Lottie sort of saying, the two of them like starting to suss each other out. Like it's got the makings of them down the track. Maybe they end up on different tribes after after they merge or not merge, after they reshuffle the tribes. Maybe they end up on different sides and they come back together later and
to shuffle them?
No, normally they just sort of pick them out of a bag or whatever, and then sometimes they'll send them away again, or sometimes they mix them and then get them to do a reward challenge together. Like, so some of them get to kind of celebrate and others don't. And it's just, it wasn't guaranteed that it was going to happen next. It just they tend to do those at the start of a new week, and there tends to be one at about the start of week 3. So most of
Well, it
the
also made
players have
sense
kind of got it
because
worked out.
Bounty had lost a bunch of players. So
It's
Baron was
nearly
having
back
to have
to
3 people sit out.
It's nearly back to equilibrium now, though.
It's 4-2, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 4-2.
It's 4-2.
Yeah.
Which
It would
is
just take one
totally
more.
almost close to equal. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'll take 2 more.
2 more, sorry, yeah. I keep thinking that person's going to go across to the other tribe, but anyway, yeah.
You'd be really good at counting the votes.
I would.
But tonight we had a little group as well of 3 of the women on, who was it? Bounty. Was that Bounty Green? So. I'm not paying attention to which one.
No, Baron's Green.
Yeah, it was Faith,
Chili, and Sally.
Yeah.
And they were the Weaselpine girls?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, what did they call themselves?
I don't know.
I forget.
Oh, yeah. Oh, maybe that was it. Yeah. Yeah, they were trying to cook something, but I don't know whether I'm trying to think about who I saw. I think all 3 of them did end up voting Johnson because they wanted Tez and then they wanted Caleb. And then in the end, I wonder if it was Brooke who talked them around, because we saw that conversation with Brooke, and Brooke was sort of like, I don't know that I want to piss off Mark right now. I feel like maybe Brooke said, nah, and they ended up going with what she suggested.
Probably a smart move.
Oh, when they went into tribal council, I still thought it was Caleb. I did not get the vibe that the votes had shifted or anything, and then his name didn't come out once, and I was like, wait a minute, I missed something here.
Yeah,
and I said this to Ben, the last couple of seasons, but I've pretty much given up. Like, I mean, I do still try to predict it, but I don't feel bad if I don't get it, because like they deliberately try to, sometimes it'll be the obvious one, and sometimes they just not bring it out of nowhere. There's normally a trail back, but they try to keep you guessing.
I also we didn't mention that Brooke revealed her idol.
Yeah.
And played it as well. I was wrong about that. I thought she was just going to...
Did she honestly think she was going to get votes? I don't know why she thought that.
I think because so many names were going around, she just didn't trust anybody.
Just returning player. I think a lot of people will think that she did waste it, like you said, but I sort of don't mind it. There's different schools of thought on how you should play idols, and different people play them different ways, but I sort of don't mind get it and then exactly, get it, play it, get another one kind of thing.
At least she didn't do a Rizzo and have it hanging around her neck the entire season.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, although he did very well. Yeah, especially when the tribe hasn't had a chance to vote you out for a long time. Like, for returning players, early votes are pretty dangerous. So maybe she just thought. And the other thing, like I sort of said in our chat, there's every chance that someone on the other side either saw the exchange and she just doesn't know that they saw the exchange yet, or that Lyndall has told someone, like, was it Loz? Loz knows about Brooke's idol, for example, and that information also could have... So as soon as they mix in the next one, she has to assume the information's out there, so she's better off sort of playing it offensively. Although I thought she would save it. I didn't think she would actually play it. But there's also sort of an argument for, as a returning player who's a bit of a target already, is that if you've got an idol, you sort of stay a target. Like, they want to take it off you. Whereas if you get rid of it, you sort of reduce your threat level a bit. You sort of just want to get further in the game and then make your moves later, probably. But Ben doesn't like that. He's like, I want big moves every night.
I do want big news every night. But we did have an extremely big move this week, so that's sort of like, okay, it's okay. But the other 2 nights,
when Lyndall plays hers, it'll be a big move.
Yeah, there's no one,
unless hopefully she goes home without it.
As much as she's not my favorite person, I like when there's villains in a season, because it just sort of gives it a good texture. So,
the thing I don't get about Lyndall is I don't understand why she's like that. You know? I get when people are mean. for a purpose, but when people are mean just because they're mean, I don't get it.
Yeah.
What did she do that was mean?
She hasn't really been mean to anybody else.
Second-guessing myself. Yeah. What did she do that was mean?
She's only been... I just think the whole reason she got rid of Eliza was Mean Girl. She woke me up. She can't
And then she didn't like Johnson. She just wants him gone.
Yes, true.
It's just like, oh, okay. What did he do to you?
Do you mean Jackson?
Jackson, thank you, sorry. It really sucks to have two of them.
I was like, Johnson did go from the other team.
I think it's best that Johnson did go, actually.
So that you can't mix his name up anymore?
No, well, that. And also because he's a lot like Lyndall in that if he gets like even a hint that his name's out there, he panics.
Yeah.
Lyndall is exactly like that.
At the start. Like people, it seemed like he had a lot of conversations with a lot of people, and the sort of information got around that, that it's not like he was keeping a close group. He was kind of making friends with everyone. I feel like though he's maybe been a little bit unlucky in that. I feel like in other seasons he might have got on a tribe that went along with him a bit more, or the early vote goes well and he, has power and does quite well. But he sort of a little bit got off on the wrong foot, and Mark was just not having it. Like every chance he got, he was putting him in his place.
Yeah, it didn't help being on the same tribe as Mark, basically.
And he was totally like power playing him.
Yeah, unsuccessfully. Oh, you mean from Mark's perspective? Yes.
Yeah.
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 But they said that Mark was sort of like a softer player in the previous season he was on. He's totally not.
It was probably what I said. Yeah, I don't know about softer. Like maybe not softer.
Like a passive player or something?
Yeah, maybe just not as assertive. He was a little
really
bit
been as aggressive as Harry was.
Yeah.
I don't think.
He was a little bit more, work stuff out in the background, get people together, pulling a lot. He sort of had a good core alliance with him. Mostly with women. But yeah, he wasn't as assertive. Yeah.
You just reminded me of after Paula got voted off the next episode, the episode that Harry got voted off, there was that moment before the tribal council where he came back to camp and everybody wandered off and only Cameron was there, and he was whining to Cameron about, oh, it's not fair. No one's going to stay. Am I the voter?
Everybody left straight away. Yeah. And sort of I'm not going to tell you that's what's happening.
I didn't notice.
We can both see what's happening.
Yeah, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah, you can
I couldn't get away fast enough. God, I wish I ran away fast enough.
Maybe you should have said, well, with an attitude like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of whiners on this season. Have you noticed that? We've got maybe Harry and Don should get together. Form their own tribe.
Pretty easy from our perspective, though. Like, we could play a 2-hour board game, and towards the end, we'd be like, "Was everyone picking on me? Was get a bit salty about it?" And yet, he's out there for like 11 days.
I'd be pretty complaining if I hadn't eaten
for days. Yeah, so it's pretty easy from our couch.
Yeah, if I'd been living off coconut, is that all they're eating?
And rice.
I kind of hadn't realised that it was all one tribe that was getting it.
Yeah, they were all, Baron were all winning all the immunity ones, all the ones that really mattered, but they weren't getting any prizes.
So the starving.
That was another thing about Aisha. I like she looks like fairly slight, right? Some of the women on there, you can see the muscle on them, which is impressive in itself. You're like, oh my, they're quite strong. Like Aisha doesn't look as much like that, but she actually did pretty well in that challenge in the water. Today, like no better than anybody else, but I feel like she's not necessarily going to be a pushover later on either.
Well, Aisha did well in that other water challenge where they had to ring the bell as well.
Yeah, she's definitely a contender. Yeah, Aisha's a contender. Yeah, I'm just going to go down the list now. What I think, Aisha's a contender. Ben, he doesn't seem to be playing strategically enough, so I don't think he'll end up doing that well. Blanche, we've barely seen. Like maybe she's okay, but the edit would suggest
she did take
probably
Don
not.
down in the standing on the pole thing in the water when she lost her balance because she tried to duck and then she grabbed onto Don.
And that's reminded me of Ben too busy looking at the other tribe.
Oh yeah, and he put pointing at the other tribe and it hit his finger. I'm surprised there wasn't more blowback for that when they got back to camp.
Caleb is far too wild. He'll go at some point, but he'll be entertaining in the meantime.
I thought he was going tonight. He's very entertaining. When they said he was going, I was like, oh, but he's like providing some entertainment by being annoying.
I like his laugh.
Cam, I don't think
he's just a loose cannon.
Probably done enough in challenges to be able to pull out immunities later, but he's okay. Don will, I don't know, the fact that Don's still there makes me think that often players like him get voted out early or they end up being kept around because they're no threat. Basically, so I reckon Don might actually stick around for ages now.
Well, he's building everything for everybody, of course. Why would you not want him to stay? He's going to build a shelter over the fire pit next.
I think what you mean is he's telling everybody that he's building everything.
He's telling
like, I'm going to build this and they're like, yeah, whatever. Faith was, tonight she was very strong. Who was it she was telling? She used that fire analogy. Oh, it was Johnson, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked it when she said to him, you need to calm down. If you don't vote the way that I'm telling you,
I'm not going to just snuff your torch.
Yeah, I'm going to set you on fire.
Yeah, she was. Is that? Oh my gosh! Yeah, she was amazing.
That was
this episode. She went up in my books.
Mine too.
That was unnecessarily strong.
The first couple of episodes, I was like, "What homeschool woman? What?" I was like, "I don't know how I feel about her, but actually, she's growing on me."
Maybe you don't want to cross her. Yeah. Jackson. Oh yes, Jackson. I like. I hope that he has a really good story, but he might be a bit soft.
He's had his story already. Didn't you hear his story?
Hardened him. Yeah,
that's his story.
There's a chance for him to have a massive arc coming from the bottom to the top.
Oh, but I don't think story. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
not
he's not well
sad story.
Enough. Yeah.
Johnson's out. Keely, I like, even though we've barely seen her.
I don't think Keely's going to last very long.
Yeah. That bit tonight where she said, I could change the vote onto him if I wanted to, sort of thing. It was like, aren't you doing this with other people? she got a little bit of a whiff of power, I think. But I don't know. I just like her for some reason. Lottie, definitely very strong.
I don't think Lottie's going to last either.
Okay.
I think because people won't trust her and they'll see her as strong and want to get her out.
Yeah.
I think she's playing it very well.
Yeah, she's extremely good.
She reminds me a little bit of Kirby, Ben, in her first season, just sort of knowing what she was doing and assured and just sort of confident in herself.
I was more thinking that she was doing a lot of the stuff that Mark was doing, in that she was basically telling people, do this vote. And that's like one way to basically put yourself on a hit list.
Yeah, but also we saw her sort of relent and go with the vote in the Harry one, right? Even though she didn't, would have preferred.
She couldn't stop it, so it would have been pointless. So I mean, her relenting doesn't really mean anything, at least in my books, because she's just going with the tide. The crowd.
I see that her and Aisha might get into one of those relationships where they sometimes vote together and sometimes vote apart and both go a long way. Yeah, don't know.
Lottie is extremely strong. You're right.
Yeah.
Barely seen. Lyndall, I don't know. Could go early, could hang around for ages. She's good at challenges.
Yes, she is.
She's very confident in her own ability, even when 3 different people tell her she's in trouble.
Is she the Don of the Bounty Tribe? Is that what I'm hearing?
Mark is very good, but will probably overcook it at some point.
Richard, no.
Richard. Oh, yeah. I'm surprised he's still around, to be honest. That sort of rich older guy, finance person usually blows hard early, especially because he's a little bit older. Sometimes they get found out, but he's done all right, actually. He doesn't seem to be on the ins with anyone in particular, though, does he? He doesn't seem that well connected.
Mm.
No.
Sally, I feel like I barely know.
I keep forgetting there's someone called Sally on the show.
But now I know that she's the one that Ben likes her jacket.
Yep. That pink jacket.
Yeah. Simon found maybe a new buddy in Lottie.
Okay, I've got an opinion on Simon.
Wasn't Lottie saying, though, that she was just, like, kind of leading him on? Or was that not who she was talking about?
Oh, I might have been too busy typing to you guys and I might have missed something. Maybe.
I think that Simon will wear out his usefulness probably about halfway through the season.
Hmm.
And they'll vote him out. They'll just be like, no, we don't need you anymore. We kept you because you're good at challenges.
Yeah. It'll be interesting how it shakes out with Aisha and Cam, I think. I mean, who knows? They might all get mixed up and it becomes moot next week.
And then
but she might need him as a soldier. Yep.
I forgot to tell you the other thing that Uwe said about Tez is what's wrong with his nose.
Uwe.
Yeah, seriously.
We're all different, okay?
Mental Uwe.
Yeah, Uwe's brutal, and I apologize.
Tez is a super fan. What happens if he watches this?
Oh, I like Tez.
No one's watching this.
Super fan of Survivor, not of us.
Yeah, I think he probably will watch this. Let's be honest. If he's a real super fan.
Okay.
You can tag him in the video now.
Yeah.
No, he's not blowing hard with his sort of super fan stuff. He's trying to stay on the down low, I think. He's trying to get information from everywhere and be strategic about it. But I kind of like that he didn't, although it was a bit awkward, I kind of like that he didn't fold to Mark. Like, it would have been very easy to sort of go in half with Mark. I know Mark didn't like it, but he didn't have to. If he did it then, he would probably continue to do it, and then he would just be under Mark's foot, kind of. So I kind of like that he stood up for himself then, even though I'm not sure that it ended up necessarily being the smartest. Like, he's a bit adrift. I don't know who he's with at the moment.
No one. That's who he's with.
Yeah,
he thinks he's with Mark, but he's not.
During the tribe swap, I think.
Yeah.
He's got to find his people.
So
Harry
Katie?
gone, Paula gone, Eliza gone, Kat gone, Daniel gone. Oh, yeah, that's it. That's why they're at the bottom of the table.
Katie, who are you favouring at the moment?
I like Aisha. And I like Brooke. I mean, I don't know that she needed to play her immunity idol, but I still like her.
Okay.
And Jackson, who I know probably isn't going to last, but he pulled such a good move last night that I love him now.
It was really good.
Yeah, and I thought he was going to be too soft to do something like that. But he did. But he sort
I
of
thought he
held
was
on to
just
it,
going to go along.
waited,
Yeah.
and spoke well.
The thing about Jackson is he's sort of one-dimensional. What you see is what you get. Two-dimensional. Yeah, sorry. No, not one-dimensional. I know how many dimensions work. Yeah, that.
Do you?
Yeah. But yeah, I think we should probably call it there because we've been going for 48 minutes and I still need to edit this.
Every time I think, maybe this will be a shorter one. But yeah. Hopefully your migraine's gone away, Katie. Sorry to keep you up so late.
That's it.
Good fun. US Survivor tomorrow, although we probably won't do the video for it straight away. And then back next week. I think it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday again. I'll let you know if it's not.
Awesome.
Cool.
Until next time.